Hey, so welcome back to the channel. Today is kind of a cool day because not cool like temperature cool, but just cool like cool, like really cool, like Bob Marley cool. I don't even know what that means, but anyway, today we are going to remove these clamps because we are epoxied in place here. The firewall is all in, and once we get that input, we can take our staples out. We can take all of these clamps off, and you can see everything here is all in place. Where this came loose over here is all epoxied. Feel really good about that. So yeah, super cool. All right, so I'm gonna get some clamps off, and then we'll talk about what's next here. All right, how cool is that? I was gonna show you too, looking down the side here, you can see just that real slight kind of, I call it kind of a waspy look, but it's not as drastic as on other models. So that little extra distance that you save here seems to make a big difference in how much that bows in. So and everything just looks really good. So I'm going to take some staples out, and then after that, since all of these are in place and the this worked out well, I'm going to just go ahead and leave kind of all these supports in place on the bottom until we get the tail pulled in, and then go from there. So got some yeah, this is gonna work out really good. And I got a couple staples here to pull, and we're all good there. Yeah. All right, so when I get to the back here and we start pulling the tail together, so I've got to make a couple more pieces. All right, so the next step is to make these pieces here. These are RSO is actually 3/4 inch material that fits in between back here when we pull the tail together. So you have an RSO for the bottom and you have an RSO for the top. So I need to make those two pieces. And then you have plywood that actually caps those. And that's a RS562, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the same as the plywood on the yeah, so that's RS562. So you can see why I had to make that run to Aircraft Spruce yesterday. I got my order in. I was able to get there in time to pick up some birch ply. So I've got that ready to cut those, ready to cut my seatbelt pieces out of, the 5 by 5 1/4, and then I've got what I need to cut these RS562 pieces out of. There's one on the top, the one that goes on the very top here, and then there's one that goes on the top and the bottom of where the tail wheel spring is. So kind of looks like that. Give you a look at that. So I'm gonna cut the seatbelt ones first, and then after I get that, I'll come back around and I'll cut the other ones, and then we'll keep rocking and rolling here. All right, so in order to mark this material here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold a block under here. Kind of working on my tippy toes a little bit, so tippy toes. Just get this in position where it needs to go. It goes right there, then I can mark on the top where I need to cut it. So, and this is just marking what side is going to get the glue. So now I'll go to the other side over here, and I'll do the same. It helps to keep things oriented when you mark like what side gets glue and all that, because when you go back to try and fit two identical pieces, which are never completely identical, since everything's being custom fit here, it just helps you keep things organized. Marked it right side, left side. I'm just counting right, left as it sits currently. All right, so I got those marked. Now I'll go cut those, and then those will cut them, sand them to rough them up a little bit, and then they will be ready to be epoxied in place. All right. All right, so I was getting ready to take a look at those RS Zeros, and I realized that I actually don't have the lumber that I need. You know what? Let me take a look. I may have there's one place I didn't look, so let me go back and take a look and see, because I may have a piece that I can cut those two out of, but I'm not positive, so I'm going to go see. If not, I'm going to go to Home Depot. Sometimes when I'm at Home Depot, I just take a look through their select. They've got some select pine at my local one here, and I occasionally see some pieces that have like really good grain structure. So I will go there if I have to, but at first I'm going to go back in and just double check that I don't have a piece that I need to cut that out of. So I'll be right back. So I actually have a piece left, but it's too small to actually do anything with. So let's make a little trip. All right, so I'm in the Home Depot checking out the Select Pine selection, and everything is just like new growth, not a lot of grain. There are some suspects back in this pile that might be close to acceptable. Like here we've got, but we've only got 4 grains, which means we'll have 6 grains per inch by the time we get there. And that's not enough. We need at least 8. And there's one piece here that's close, but it's $25. So, dilemma time. I think I'll drive to Rockler, and I can get a smaller piece there of exactly what I need. So, looking through some other boards, and I found a great example of grain fall off that I just wanted to show you here. This is a really good example where this grain on this side of the board comes across all the way here and falls off this side of the board in what appears to be about 7 inches. And so if you're looking for lumber, this is a really good example of what you don't want. I believe for even pine, it's probably a minimum of 15 inches where you can have grain fall off like that. But this is a really solid example of what that looks like. And I was just checking out some other boards here, and that one was a possibility. And it's interesting, on this side of the board, the grain structure is actually pretty good, and there's five grains per 3/4, so that gets close. But it's on the other side of the board where everything falls off, so still not good enough. So there is one more back here that actually looks pretty good. I'll see if I can dig it out. I found this one, which has more than enough grains per inch, but this is why it's so hard to find anything that's usable at Home Depot, because just in 4 inches or whatever that is, this is what the other side looks like. The grain falls off in like 4 inches. So all right, gotta go to Rockler. Well, that was a total bust because their wood supply is so limited right now. They just don't have hardly anything, which is kind of shocking. But all right, so there happens to be a Lowe's really close to here, so let's have a look. We might find something there. All right, so sometimes you can find something in pine treads. So I was making sure I took a look at this section here. It's just that the grain's going the wrong way. There's some that are good, but I wish the grain was more of a C grain rather than an A grain. So those won't work, but I did find this board that actually has some sections of it. I mean, it has knots in it, but it has some sections that have the qualifying number of grains per inch, and they're the same on both sides. So I know that the grain doesn't change halfway through the board. So I might go with this one. All right, so I made my choice with that that white pine board. You can see it right here, and the sections in between those knots are actually pretty good. So, and the slope requirement on white pine, I actually looked it up just to make sure that everything was good. It's actually 1 in 20, so it's a little bit. It requires a little bit more than say the Douglas fir that I'm currently using. But this will work out great. I can get those RS zeros out of this, out of the good sections, and keep moving forward. So, all right, cool. Back to the shop. All right, so I actually decided I'm gonna wait. I was thinking to myself how much easier this will be to put this on, because I actually have to, I want to get this part sealed with epoxy as well in behind here, where I won't be able to reach very easily with a brush later when I'm sealing all this up. So what I'm gonna do is wait till I can flip the fuselage over on its side. And once I'm able to do that, it'll be a whole lot easier for me to get to this area before or after I sheet the bottom. I'll still be able to flip it over and work from the inside, which will be a whole lot easier. So, so I'm gonna wait on that, and next time we will work on, well, there's a couple directions to go here. I want to get the tail pulled together, and then I think we'll do the sheeting on the bottom after I get the, of course I will, after I get the tail pulled together, because I don't, in case something shifts just a little bit up here, I'll just make sure. I did just briefly pull it together to see how everything was going, and it's interesting because there's a straight section from, let me grab the plan here. So from this station here all the way to the tail, this section has to stay completely straight. So it's allowed to curve a little bit here, but then once we get here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my steel plates here and put them on the bench top, and I will set this out of the way. I'll set them on here. Let me grab one real quick. Let me get the everything out of my hands here. Just show you what I'm thinking. And I'll do. So I'll bring one of these down here. Then I'll take a couple of clamps. And now I've got a nice straight line, and then I believe then I can just push this in where it needs to go. And that'll give me a really good, some really good leverage to just pull that in, making sure that everything else stays straight. And I'll do that on both sides, and I think that will actually work perfectly. So, all right, so that's the plan, and that's how we'll do that. I was just thinking through it for a couple days, trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. I like that method. So yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it, as you know. And if you're not a subscriber, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and the little bell by it so you don't miss any of these episodes. And making really solid progress. So I will catch you later. Super Bowl time.